up, y'all? And welcome to the Dope Life Podcast, the dopest podcast ever. And I am, of course, your host, Coach AJ, the Dope Life Coach, the dopest life coach ever. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss another episode. And if you could be oh so wonderful and dope, please, give us a rating and leave us a review so that our podcast can reach and help others to live and live a life of self-care, self-compassion, and growth, confidence, all of that good stuff in between. But before we get right into today's episode, let's just take 3 deep cleansing breaths in through our nose, out through our mouths. And if you're driving, please do not close your eyes. Just do it with your eyes open, in through your nose, out through your mouth. One more time, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Awesome. Ain't that good? Like, you just feel more relaxed. You could take in some really good content for a very dope life coach. I mean, I'm just saying. So today we're talking about giving thanks. You know what I'm saying? In Canada, Thanksgiving's around the corner. And, let's not talk about the fact that we are celebrating something on Indigenous land. Okay. I had to insert that a little bit there. But it really made me start to think about what it is really giving thanks. You know what I'm saying? What does it mean to give thanks? Because ultimately, it means to express gratitude or show some sort of like appreciation to others and to yourself. Now, the reason why I say to others first is quite often we think about showing gratitude to others and we kind of skip ourselves. And we're going to be talking about a bit of both, but more about ourselves because we already know how it is to kind of show thanks to others. But are we really comfortable with saying thanks and appreciating ourselves? That's the question we need to ask, right? And how does that look like to you? Or how would that look like for you? Is it getting up early in the morning and having a coffee in silence? If you are a parent or you're a caregiver in any way, shape, or form, or you just have a very stressful day-to-day life, does it mean that you got to, maybe an hour early just to have a hot and non-interrupted, shower, no one's interrupting you, or bath? Or does it mean you go for a jog? Or does it mean you just being silent and still? Typically, sometimes it's a little bit less now, but when I was getting up really early in the morning for work, it was, I'd be getting up 4:30 in the morning, 4 a.m. And when I did that, I would always make breakfast, and my coworkers would I'd get to work and they'd be like, "You actually made that? You didn't pay for it? You didn't go to the store? You didn't go to McDonald's?" Nah, man. It takes 2 seconds. You just have to get up early. You honestly have to just kind of prioritize that. And that was my form of self-care. Getting up a little bit earlier than I had to, have a cup of coffee on my couch, meditate, journal. I did all these things, practice gratitude before I left. And that is another, how can you show up yourself and show gratitude? That is just a simple way you could do it, just showing a little extra love to yourself. Whether it's the beginning of the day, the end of the day, just taking care of you. So I want you to think, how can you show yourself some gratitude right now in this chapter of your life? I'm sure you heard of it, you have to fill your cup before filling others, but it's quite often we fill others' cup before we fill ourselves, right? It has changed. I would say the dynamic of that saying is really coming to fruition more and more with how the world really is. More people are pouring into their own cup because peace is the new currency. I say that again, peace is the new currency. With that, it's important for you to pay attention to your inner dialogue. Embrace the self-compassion over the self-critic. I say that again. Embrace self-compassion and kindness over your self-critic. Don't be so hard on yourself and your mistakes. I'll give you a bit of an example. Most recently, as some of you may know, about a year ago, I was assaulted at my job, not as a coach, my full-time gig. And part of that is bringing myself back to the environments of where I worked. I suffer from anxiety and PTSD, particularly when I'm around my work environment, which is what I'm learning. And just recently, while I was in that environment, I had a very kind of a visceral reaction of I was reacting in terms of fear. I have PTSD, as I said. The one thing that hit me was immediately I was disappointed in myself In my head, I was saying, my inner critic was like, you've done this before. You've been in this environment. Why are you so upset right now being in the same environment that you were in for X amount of years? And then I took a step back and I had to give myself that self-compassion, that kindness, that love, and understand that where I was then and where I am now are two different, like two different points of my life. So it's okay to have this reaction based upon what happened, and to give myself that love and embrace that it's okay. What can we learn from this? How can we move forward? Those moments, just like how typically a mistake, as people would say, oh man, you're so hard on yourself, you made a mistake. But those moments are fantastic to learn more. Those moments are a great opportunity to grow. It's taking the difficult situations and flipping them in a way that it could almost work in your favor. And I know that it takes time to kind of have that mentality and that mindset and that drive to direct your brain, direct your thoughts into a positive. I mean, I just told you, I myself, a full on life coach, had a moment of my inner critic was there. But based upon what happened to me, I took a step back quite immediately and just said, you know what? Look what happened. This is natural. You'll be okay. You're okay. That that self-talk really allowed my brain to reframe and reswitch. So that's also another way of just showing yourself thanks, appreciating those moments of when you are feeling a little bit down on yourself. Now, inner critic is trying to creep in a little bit, giving yourself that permission to just say it's okay. You're paying attention to that that dialogue. You've reframed your brain, but you're also embracing that self compassion and release yourself from any guilt you have. Working with a professional or doing inner work, please. I am so blessed not only to be a life coach myself, to be an investment in many, many people's lives. That is quite possibly the greatest gift I could ever be given. But also having other people in my life that I can lean into day in and day out, depending, what I'm saying, whether it's professional help or just a group that I'm surrounded by that help me day in and day out. And they're doing their same thing. So it's just like no one's feeling guilty for that inner work that we're all doing. For the parents, we always want to treat kids, right? I'm a newly stepmom, and I also have three amazing nephews, and I have an amazing godson as well. Now, as these kids are growing up, I want to spoil them. I want to treat them as much as I can and spoil them. And sometimes I have to be kind of a taken back because I'm like, I can't spoil them too much, right? And with that being said, I always forget we got to spoil ourselves too. It may just be something as simple as, I don't know, anything like, treat yourself, and like treat yourself as often. And I think that's also has to do with like celebrating your wins. Sometimes we don't celebrate our wins. Sometimes we just kind of say, oh yeah, we did that. No, like you like treat yourself with that. Like enjoy small little luxuries. Now I don't mean like you go out and buy like a Birkin bag. Like that's not what I'm saying. And I don't mean to go out and buy like $1,000 sneakers. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not what I'm saying here, guys. What I'm actually saying here is it's okay to like indulge from time to time and have your favorite dessert or I don't know. For me personally, if I had to indulge, I go back to that childlike self. What were the things I used to like when I was a kid and I couldn't really get it often? I'm an adult. I got money. I'm gonna go indulge a little bit. Like those type of uh, little treats go a long way. Also, like invest in your personal growth, guys. We're on this earth for how many years that we pray and hope and wish for, right? it's good to grow. It's part of life, and having that inner growth within us, constantly trying to like move up and engage in activities and like learnings experiences that contribute to your personal growth and self-improvement not only helps you, but we're like a branch. Each of us are connected, so it helps others as well. So as you give into yourself, you give into others. And there's really simple ways you could do this, like hobbies, courses, um, groups. I mentioned meetup groups many times. Eventbrite has a lot of great virtual, if you're uncomfortable being around social settings. If you are, even they have in person and virtual. So there's so many options that you have to meet people in your demographic, in your age group, in your everything, in your, they're out there. And a lot of them are free. You know what I mean? Like a lot of them are free. So you could definitely tap into those as well by giving thanks to yourself. But ultimately, if I had to say, if you had to really give thanks to who you are, giving thanks to who you are is giving love to yourself. Giving thanks to who you are is giving like to yourself. Giving thanks to yourself is giving compassion, giving yourself everything that you want from others and then some. Because if you give thanks to yourself and you give compliments and you give that love, that like, that self compassion to you, you are going to become one of the most powerful forces. You are going to have an energy that exudes from from the top of your head to the sole of your feet. And we don't give thanks to ourselves as often as we should because we think it's almost like a selfish act, but I think it's a beautiful act, an act that's not normalized as much because it seemed as if, like, especially, I'm going to say it, when it comes towards mothers, it's like, no, it's all about the kid, it's all about the kid. But you know what? If you're not taking care of yourself, yeah. Same for dads. It's all about providing for your family, providing for a family. But if you're not taking care of yourself, then what? And those aunts and those uncles and they, them, all of y'all, you humans, if you don't take care of you, the ones that you're so worried about, what happens to them? How do their cups get filled? We are all an energy tracker. We all track energy in some way. As I said, we're all trees. We all have branches. And believe it or not, each branch has so many leaves and so many little twigs and everything. We all connect. And it's important for us to show that self-love and self-like and that give ourselves that those thanks day in and day out as much as we can. And in the days you don't remember, it's okay, skip a day, do it the next. Maybe this is just a reminder to give thanks to yourself right now. Say thank you. Say thank you. Like, say thank you. AJ, I thank you for just being yourself. Whatever your name is. Thank Boom. I thank you for fill in the blanks. Go in the mirror and say, I thank you for existing. I thank you for loving me. I thank you for having my back. I thank you for constantly showing up on the days that I straight up don't want to. Just give yourself thanks. We give thanks to others so much. Give it back to you. So for a quick recap, we talked about giving thanks. I went a little bit on a tangent there. But we really talked about showing gratitude and appreciation for ourselves. And how does that look, and also showing ourselves that self-compassion over that self-critic, paying attention to our internal dialogue, and not worrying too much about the mistakes that we've made, but moreover what it's learning that it's a being open, that it's an opportunity to grow and learn as we go on, and not for being afraid of seeking some professional help. You know what I'm saying? Treat yourself, treat yourself. Yeah, we talked about treating ourselves as if, like, tapping into that inner child and like treating ourselves. And also, investing in our personal growth. Investing in our personal growth is a way that we can give ourselves thanks. But moreover, it's an activity you could try, like I just said at the end, just even you could use it as a journal prompt, or you could do it as like some mirror work, or just like some inner, like, just like a self-talk dialogue. Like, just say, start off with, I thank you, but say with your name. Say, blank, I thank you for. That's it. Blank, I thank you for. I'm going to leave it in the description so that you guys could try it out. And I would love for you to share your, like your thoughts on it when you did it for, let's say, like a couple of days, 7 days. Like what came up? What did you feel like you were thinking for? What popped up for you a little bit? And if you enjoyed this dope episode, go ahead and share it on Instagram, on your Instagram story, and tag me in it, dope life coach _ That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for joining us. And as always, stay dope, walk with peace and love.